and I'm honored to represent the first state, my state, the state of Delaware. Since I've never been called a man of few words, let me say it as simply as I can. Yes, yes, I accept your nomination to run and serve with Barack Obama, the next President of the United States of America. And let me make this pledge to you right here and now. For every American who is trying to do the right thing, for all those people in government who are honoring the pledge to uphold the law and honor the Constitution, no longer will you hear the 8 most dreaded words in the English language. The Vice President's office is on the phone. Barack and I took very different journeys to this destination, but we share a common story. Mine began in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and then Wilmington, Delaware. My dad who fell on hard times, always told me, though, champ, when you get knocked down, get up. Get up. I was taught that by my dad. And God, I wish my dad was here tonight. But I thank God and I'm grateful that my mom, Catherine Eugenia Finnegan Biden, is here tonight. Mom, I love you. You know, my mom taught her children, all the children who flocked to our house, that you're defined by your sense of honor and you're redeemed by your loyalty. She believes that bravery lives in every heart, and her expectation is that it will be summoned. Failure at some point of your life is inevitable, but giving up is unforgivable. As a child, I stuttered. And she lovingly would look at me and tell me, Joey, it's because you're so bright you can't get the thoughts out quickly enough. When I was not as well dressed as the other kids, she'd look at me and say, Joey, oh, you're so handsome, honey, you're so handsome. And when I got knocked down by guys bigger than me, and this is the God's truth, she sent me back out and said, bloody their nose so you can walk down the street the next day. And that's what I did. You know, and after the accident, she told me, she said, Joey, God sends no cross that you cannot bear. And when I triumphed, my mother was quick to remind me it was because of others. My mother's creed is the American creed. No one is better than you. Everyone is your equal, and everyone is equal to you. My parents taught us to live our faith and to treasure our families. We learned the dignity of work, and we were told that anyone can make it if they just try hard enough. That was America's promise. And for those of us who grew up in middle-class neighborhoods like Scranton and Wilmington, that was the American dream. Ladies and gentlemen, but today, that American dream feels like it's slowly slipping away. I don't have to tell you that. You feel it every single day in your own lives. I've never seen a time when Washington has watched so many people get knocked down without doing anything to help them get back up. Almost every single night, I take the train home to Wilmington, Delaware, sometimes very late. As I sit there in my seat and I look out that window, and I see those flickering lights of the homes that pass by, I can almost hear the conversation they're having at their kitchen tables after they put their kids to bed. Like millions of Americans, they're asking questions as ordinary as they are profound. Questions they never, ever thought they'd have to ask themselves. Should Mom move into this now that Dad's gone? $50, $60, $70 just to fill up the gas tank. How in God's name, with winter coming, how are we going to heat the home? Another year, no raise. Did you hear? Did you hear they may be cutting our health care at the company? Now we owe more money on our home than our home is worth. How in God's name are we going to send the kids to college? How are we going to retire, Joe? You know, folks, that's the America that George Bush has left us. And that's the America we'll continue to get if John McCain is elected President of the United States of America. Freudian slip. Freudian slip. And folks, these are not isolated discussions among families down on their luck. These are common stories among middle-class people who've worked hard their whole life, played by the rules, on the promise that their tomorrows would be better than their yesterdays. That promise is the promise of America. It defines who we are as a people. And now it's in jeopardy. I know it, you know it, but John McCain doesn't seem to get it. Barack Obama gets it, though. Like many of us in this room, like many of us in this hall, Barack Obama has worked his way up. He is the great American story. You know, I believe the measure of a man is not the road he travels, but the choices he makes along that road. And ladies and gentlemen, Barack Obama could have done anything after he graduated from college. With all his talent and promise, he could have written his own ticket to Wall Street. But what did he choose to do? He chose to go to Chicago, the South Side of Chicago. There in the South Side, he met women and men who had lost their jobs. Their neighborhood was devastated when the local steel plant closed. Their dreams had to be deferred. Their self-esteem was gone. And ladies and gentlemen, he made their lives the work of his life. That's what you do when you're raised by a single mom who worked, went to school, and raised 2 kids on her own. That's how you come to believe to the very core of your being that work is more than a paycheck. It's dignity. It's respect. It's about whether or not you can look your child in the eye and say, we're going to be all right. Because Barack Obama made that choice, 150 more children and parents have health care in Illinois. He fought to make that happen. And because Barack Obama made that choice, working families in Illinois pay less taxes, and more people have moved from welfare to the dignity of work, and he got it done. And when he came to Washington, John and I watched with amazement how he hit the ground running, leading the fight to pass the most sweeping ethics reform in a generation. He reached across party lines to pass a law that helped keep nuclear weapons out of the hands of terrorists.